Good evening, boys and girls. How are we all? I hope you're well. Andy Forrest Runner here, and welcome back to another live stream. Tonight, a little bit more of a sincere topic, a little bit about something that I guess I've wanted to be sharing my opinions with you guys for quite a while now. Thoughts on Nike, what's been going on in 2019? Are they a company under pressure? What do they need to do to sort themselves out moving to 2020? How do they need to gain back a little bit of credibility? Because to be perfectly honest with you, 2019 has not been the best for them. So we're going to discuss all of that tonight, the situations that have been going on there. My thoughts, your thoughts, of course, I'd love to hear them. A bit earlier for me tonight on the stream, a bit of an early one. Thought I'd jump on, grab a chance to have a chat with you guys. Haven't streamed for nearly a month, so as I said, love streaming and love talking to you all. Just going to load up the chat, so bear with me 2 seconds. But if you are in the chat, make sure you say good evening. I hope you are doing well, and it'd be great to hear from some of you. Good evening, Rich. I hope you are well, mate. Anyone else in the chat? There's a few of you watching already. Rich, mate, well done on Silverstone half this weekend. Great job. Looked like a good one. Definitely would love to do that one next year for sure. So yeah, let's dive right in without wasting any time. 2019 has not really been, if I can point to the right place, the best year for Nike. Now, there's a lot of things I wanted to cover, and I'm going to try and do this tactically, strategically, and be careful with what I say, because I certainly don't want to come across as slanderous or come across in any way that is detrimental to the company. But I think it's about airing the facts and talking about where the company's gone wrong in terms of the scandals that have come out in the press, which have been horrific to say the least. But I guess the big question is, am I surprised? And to cut to the chase, no, I'm not. For any of you guys that are in business, I've been in business such a long time now. This is just, I don't know, it feels like scandals that are blowing up on a bigger scale, but you see minor versions of this happening quite often in a corporate environment, in a workplace. Discrimination, bullying, sort of alienating someone, making them feel, let's dive into it. So first of all, if you are not aware of what's been going on, you've obviously been living under a rock. Back earlier this year, there was a big controversy that came out to do with Nike and their contracts with female athletes. Now, the female athletes basically had some clauses in their contracts to say about pregnancy, basically not getting paid. There was a massive scandal for women, for women's rights. That Nike are basically trying to prevent them, or not prevent them physically, but trying to put them off getting pregnant. It's going to damage their athletic career, basically not encouraging them to be a mum, and effectively trying to steer them down the path of waiting until their athletic career is over. That's a very general and woolly overview. There's a lot more details that you can find online, but of course, it wasn't quite as simple and clear cut as that. There was, as I said, some very interesting details in the contracts talking about cutting pay, not getting paid whilst you're on maternity leave, all of that stuff. It was disgusting, to be perfectly honest with you. Living in the 21st century that we do, talking about women's rights, equal rights, it blew my mind a little bit that clauses in contracts like this still existed in this day and age. But I guess that's the nature of a cutthroat, top of the range, sort of top cutting edge company like Nike are in the running shoe and the running and the sporting world globally, worldwide. Leading on from that, of course, Alberto Salazar. We all know what happened there. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, again, this is the tip of the iceberg. This man has been investigated for a while now. Suspicions, black clouds have been surrounding his name for years. I'm obviously on the UK side of the big pond, not from the States, but of course, Mo Farah, one of his athletes back when he initially got interrogated, had some very frosty interviews with the BBC and local press around, I think this was about 2 or 3 years ago when initial suspicions came out. Farah obviously distanced himself from the allegations, swapped when he left his track career training to Paula Radcliffe's husband, I can't remember his name for love nor money, and has been training with him ever since. But of course, Farah was training along with Rupp and some other incredible athletes at the time in the Nike Oregon project. That obviously came under big scrutiny, has now been closed, which is just shady as fudge, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, if that doesn't scream, I mean, I get from a company standpoint that you don't want to associate yourself with that sort of thing, But if that doesn't scream this was dodgy and we want to wash our hands of it, then I don't know what does. And obviously Alberto has now been found guilty and has been banned from the sport for coaching for 4 years and from the sport, I believe. And then, of course, fast forward to the last couple of months, or last month, when the story of Mary Kane broke. For me personally, the most disturbing of the lot. I mean, as I said, going back, the pregnancy thing and the cutting pay and all of that sort of thing, that was kind of mind-blowing in itself. But the whole Mary Kane thing, that is a real kind of, I don't want to mince my words here, and I want to be careful what I say. It's not modern slavery, but it really is guiding a young girl down a path that is not a healthy path to go down. I mean, basically Nike and Alberto, well, no, okay, let's leave Nike out of this. Alberto was hell-bent on guiding this girl, young girl, shall we say, down a path of to be the best elite athlete that she could be, forgetting the physical, mental and emotional development that she's going through in those times. I mean, she signed for Nike full-time at the age of 16. We all know girls develop through puberty into their young adulthood. A lot goes on for girls and boys, and naturally that is a time when hormones and everything are at an all-time high. They're raging, bodies are changing, and she openly said, bless her heart, bravely, that she was put under so much pressure from Alberto, and forced to lose weight all the time and publicly shamed. Her periods stopped happening for a long time, and it feels like modern slavery to a degree, and it's really capped off a year that for Nike they need to forget. They need to go into 2020 with a new mission, a new purpose. They need to claw back something, because quite frankly, we all know that companies at the top are cutthroat. We all know that companies at the top will shit on a lot of people to get to where they need to be, and they won't give a monkey's what they have to do to get there. And these scenarios are a clear classic case of this. Unfortunately, I'm not being funny, but you'd be living under a rock to think that Nike are the only company doing this in this day and age. I'm sorry, but they're not. This is just, But anyway, that's kind of what's been going on. Let me see what you guys think. And if you are in the chat, make sure you give this stream a like. It really helps out the stream. Thank you very much. Let's see who's in there tonight, and we can talk a little bit more about this scandal. So yeah, as I said, give it a like, guys. That'll be much appreciated. Claire, good evening. I hope you are well. Yes, thank you. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for sure. Yeah. Exactly, Rich. It has been corrupt for a very long time. Usain Bolt. Yeah. I can't deny that, Rich. You're spot on. Yeah, exactly. They didn't. Yeah. Oh gosh, this is brilliant, guys. This is brilliant. All these comments, they're great. Relentless pursuit of shade. Yeah, exactly. They did not provide a program with proper dietitian and nutrition. Exactly. And just very quickly on that point, what we've got to remember is that Alberto had a lot of yes men around him at the time, by the looks of it. So from that perspective, you've got to think to yourself that they were just doing what he said. So if Alberto had something in his mind or wanted something to be done, then those guys would do it. They wouldn't. I mean, to a degree, they're going to provide their input, but they're probably not going to overrule what Alberto is saying. And that poor girl at that age, and I just think you think to yourself, what a wasted talent. That girl was, as the papers claim, the fastest girl in America, and she could have been something incredible. It's so sad. Not long after we heard that London had doped, but I can't believe this wasn't known about for Rio. Yeah. They make all the money and say, oh, sorry. Yes, exactly. So, okay, right. Let's break this down a little bit. I mean, guys, these comments, this is brilliant. Daniel, am I going to buy product? Okay, so yeah, do you know what? Let's talk about that. That is the next point on the list. Where does that leave us? Where does that make us stand? Okay, so this is my standpoint in terms of buying Nike products and how Nike are. And I'm going to put my business head on here, okay, because this is really important. Someone asked me my thoughts on one of my Peg Turbo videos, and I gave my thoughts in hopefully a clear and concise way, but it wasn't, I kind of felt at the time when I gave that comment, I was never going to be able to convey how I strongly felt on that time. So let's wind it back, okay? There are two things going on here. There's a human error in Alberto Salazar on 2 of the 3 big cases this year. And then there's a company error in the pregnancy scandal back earlier in the year. So Alberto is responsible for the doping and Mary Kane, and the company is responsible. I mean, the company is responsible. That's just mind-blowing to say, that the actual company is responsible for the female contracts, okay? So let's wind it back from a business perspective, okay? I run a business myself, a web design business. I also run a virtual running events business. I've been involved in business a long time, okay? And I know as a business owner, okay, what negative feedback and negative press and negative social media does to a company. It can ruin them. Therefore, contractors, customers, social media partners that I have worked with in my time in business, I vet scrupulously. I make sure that I have a good working relationship with them, and I ensure that there are some safety nets around what we might be working together towards, to ensure that I can trust them, especially if they're contractors delivering work on my behalf. Because the last thing I want as an employer is to get an employee to deliver some work to a customer that they are not happy with. Okay, so the point I'm trying to get at here is Nike is a company, and I can guarantee you there are some bloody lovely people working for Nike, some incredible people with a heart of gold, and people that want to see the company do well, and people that walk into that office day in, day out, wanting to work hard. Yes, there are going to be people in there just going in there for the paycheck and couldn't give a monkeys. As long as they're being paid, that's all that matters. That's life. People work in those types of jobs all the time. But people with our heads screwed on, there are going to be people in there that care a lot about Nike, and they care, you know, beyond belief. I know that feeling. I have businesses. So I'm not going to tar one man's idiotic behavior, disgraceful behavior, disgusting behavior. Okay, and I know there are two sides to every coin. I'd still like to hear Alberto's side of the story. Okay, so I'm not going to slander too much, but I'm not going to let that judgment taint too much my thoughts on Nike. You, again, I'm going to use this phrase a lot tonight. You're living under a rock if you don't think the likes of Nike, Adidas, the big companies out there don't shit on people, on companies, on people, on anything to get to the level that they're at. Okay, let's be realistic. If you are top of your game in whatever field you're in, you have jumped through hoops to get there, and you couldn't give a monkey's how you've got there. Okay, so again, I'm under no illusion that these people are working hard from a business perspective and not really giving a crap about what's going on to the side of them. As long as they get to the top, that's all that matters. That's not to say I condone what Alberto has done, and that's not to say I condone Nike letting Alberto get away with it, because let's be perfectly honest with you, there are going to be people in Nike that wouldn't have had a clue what Alberto was doing, and there are going to be people in Nike that will have known exactly what Alberto was doing. Now, as a company, they should have nipped that in the bud a long time ago, but they didn't, okay? And that was their choice, and that is a very, very bad error of judgment. But you would be foolish to think that there are not many other elite athletes out there doping people. I mean, come on. You are not on the start line of a world final, or, you know, you are not finishing in the top 5 of a marathon major if you are not doping. It makes me really passionate, but you've got to understand that you're going to get these natural athletes that are busting their balls off to get to where they are. Then you're going to get these people jumping above them, getting that extra 1, 2, 3% from the shoes, from the sports nutrition, and from the doping. I mean, I'm sorry to burst your bubble if you live in that sort of fantasy land, but it's a fact. We can't deny it. It's a fact, okay? And that's the sad part of athletics. As Rich Bays 187 said, athletics is corrupt, and it has been for such a long time. Like any sport, if you want to get to the top, it is corrupt. So with that passionate rant over, what I'm trying to get to is, and if you like my passionate rant, guys, as I said, make sure you give this stream a like. What I'm trying to get to is, people, I am going to blame Nike for allowing this to happen, but I'm not going to let one man's judgment taint too much my thoughts, because ultimately it goes on everywhere. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, You'll see that I saw some Adidas Ultra Boost 19s the other night. I very nearly bought them. I didn't. I really want a pair of Adidas. Am I under no illusions that this stuff does not go on in companies like that as well? Okay, it's not just Nike. It's just that Nike have come to the forefront, and they just happen to have someone that has come out in the paper and been investigated. Now, Nike have a habit of dealing with dopers. It's come out a lot. It's sad. It happens. It's life. But I don't buy Nike products to support that element. I've been buying them this year in particular because I like them. They're good. And no, I'm not going to stop buying them. I'm not being funny, people. But how many of you out there that have invested in the Nike 4% and the next percent that are shooting for a PB at their next race are going to look at your next percent and go, nah? Or have you been training 18 weeks to get that PB and look at it and go, actually, no, from a moral standpoint, I'm not going to wear those shoes today. I'm going to wear my other 12-ounce Asics training shoes that I think I can still get a PB in? No, come on. Okay, let's be realistic. Okay, I haven't run in these things for a couple of weeks now because I have a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth at the moment. That is my standpoint. I'm never going to wear them again, and I would like to get back out in them this weekend to kind of cleanse myself a little bit from these shoes. And the reason these ones in particular, because if you eagle-eyed viewers will know, I ran in my original Nike, oh bloody hell, my Nike Zoom Flies at my race this weekend. Okay, but I don't have an association with that shoe with what's going on because I bought those back in January, way before any of these stories broke out. I bought these and the Mary Kane story broke, literally, and I was like, oh my goodness, it couldn't have been at a worse time. So I kind of have a bit of a negative detachment from this particular shoe right now, and I will get back into it at some point and try and break that, but I don't have it with the other one. And I think psychologically we associate certain things with certain elements in our life, with music to a certain point in life or whatever. You know what I'm trying to get at. So this thing I'm not too comfortable with running in, but no, I am going to continue to run in Nike. But there's a caveat. We'll get to the caveat in a second. Let's see what you guys have been putting in here. And guys, please hit that like button. I love you very much. You're all awesome, and I really appreciate all of your blooming comment. Oh, the chat is brilliant. I love it. Vetiren, Lee, good evening, mate. Just talking about the scandal. Mary Kane had courage to come. Definitely, she did. She did. She's such. I've been reading so much on it. She seems like such a lovely girl, and I admire anyone that has the gonads to come out and speak about a brand like that. It's brilliant. Is this due to the carbon fiber plate and people saying it shouldn't be there? I'm not 100% sure what you mean. Do you mean in the shoes? Sorry, I rambled so much then. I completely lost my train of thought. Yes, Cara Goucher, that's it. So she bought the original allegations for it. Okay, she wasn't listened to, and I imagine Nike have the money. Exactly right. Very quickly on that point, Rich. Really good point. That's when the whole Mo Farah thing broke. And I remember watching an interview with Cara Goucher, and she was saying that she was speaking to Galen Rupp, and she said she saw him day in, day out. She said, Galen, you look absolutely shattered. You can't train today. You look like you're falling to pieces. How are you carrying on? And she said that man trained day in, day out, despite the fact that he looked like death warmed up. And she said it was so clear and obvious how he was able to train with, these were her words, with drugs going, not drugs, okay, but performance enhancing things going in, whether that's, I don't know what they are, whether it's just glucose injections or EPO. Well, glucose injections are a type of EPO because it's an enhancing drug, but you know what I mean. There are various chemical levels on what you can have. However it was, she said, and it opened my eyes to what was going on. It was just kind of like robots in a factory, and she came out and she was clean and open and said, look, this is absolute bull sugar. Yes, Rich, well remembered. That was the girl. Exactly, Dave. They were fully aware. Beet juice. Oh, mate, it's all about the beet juice. I'll have them if someone's giving them away. Or the 4%. Exactly. Yeah. See, everyone's going to get on their high horse. This is why I want to have this conversation, people. Okay, because I'm ranting, but I'm giving my true and honest standpoint. No, I'm not going to stop wearing them, but I do still feel strongly about them. you know. But the caveat, let's come to the caveat now. I stopped with Nike a couple of years ago due to them sponsoring questionable professional athletes in the NFL. Okay, so I don't know a lot about the NFL, but exactly, Nike have had a habit over the years of sponsoring athletes that are questionable in terms of their performance-enhancing drug choices. So the caveat, okay. Moving into, because we're going to wrap this up soon, but moving into 2020, and I keep putting your thoughts in the chat. This is absolutely brilliant. This is fueling the conversation, people, fueling the conversation. You know what to do. The caveat is that 2020 needs to be a change for Nike. As I said, I bought these, and then the Mary Kane story broke literally that day, the same day, or the day after, because I had these sat for a week or so before I started testing them out, and it gutted me, to be honest with you, because I knew that I would get questions about it. And it's great to discuss these things. I think we as human beings need to vent, get off our chest. It's lovely to hear your thoughts in the chat about it. But the caveat definitely needs to be something needs to change in 2020. Nike have come out and said we're aware of the allegations from the pregnancy side of things. We're changing it, and that's great that they're changing it. But I just don't think it's enough. Okay, I don't think it's enough that they're just changing it. Okay, compensation packages need to be put in place for these athletes that have been affected. Period. Nike aren't short of money. Okay, they don't just need to go right from now moving forwards. Now moving forwards, it's all going to be okay, people. No, you need to compensate for the mental trauma that you have put these people through. These females have been scared to get pregnant, have come back to athletics too early after having a baby due to the fact that their running is their job and they need to get paid, and they know they won't get paid. This detrimental to the female body. You know, having a baby is a massive thing. Your body over 9 months goes through changes that blokes can't even comprehend. The only thing that's worse than pregnancy is getting kicked in the balls at the end of the day. I'm sure the guys would agree. I'm sure the girls won't. But you know what I mean, in all seriousness, right? It's such a big change. The mental and physical scars here are massive, people. So there needs to be more done on that rather than just, oh, yeah, we acknowledge that that's wrong. We'll change it. The Alberto Salazar thing, do you know what? It's done and dusted. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That's the least of my worries. If you, as I said, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. You're living under a bus. You're living under a rock if you don't think doping happens. The scandals come out. He's been busted. C'est la vie, Alberto Salazar. There's been positive. Oh gosh, you guys are going to have to remind me. What's the lady that's taken over the track club at Nike in Oregon? The female marathon runner that's just retired, that's going to take over the training. That's a really, really positive thing that's going on there. She's leading the way, and I love that. It's a female. Oh my goodness! Come on, people, put in the chat. What's her name? Tell me. I can't think for love nor money. But it's the track club in Oregon that she's going to be leading, and that's really positive. And then, of course, the Mary Kane thing, just disgraceful. And again, more needs to be done. You can't just acknowledge these things. You can't just say, yeah, we're aware, we're really sorry, we're going to be working on. Shalane Flanagan, well done, Rich. That's the one, Shalane Flanagan. She's doing great things. And I think from a female standpoint, that is going to rise like a phoenix rising from the ashes. For a lot of females this year, from the scandal, she's going to be hopefully leading the way as a pioneer in Nike now to show that actually, do you know what? Nike has been associated with some bad crap over the last year and beyond. I am going to be a forefront here. I'm going to be a strong pillar, a strong figure, a strong social media influence in Nike, and I like that. I think she's a good lady. She seems like she's got her head screwed on, and she's going to take the company far if they invest the right. Do you know what? If I was Nike, I'd be plowing money into her program. I'd be investing big time. Yes, Tim, it is Shalane. Yeah. So that is something that they need to kind of harness, embrace, rise from the ashes, and run with it, literally. But as I said, the Mary Kane thing again, it's just. Okay, and working with a lot of HR companies and businesses that I work with, I see stories like this all the time. Like on a smaller scale, it's just because Nike is such a big blown up company that the media is going to hit. But you see public discrimination, abuse of the, human nature. You see things like this all the time in the workplace, and it's a horrible, disgusting thing. And I'm sorry to say it, but Mary Kane is just one example. And bless her heart for standing up for what is right. She has done the world proud, but more people need to take her example because there are so many people suffering in silence, going through similar things at the end of the day. And Nike need to address this big time. What needs to happen in 2020 is some clear and transparent rules in how they are treating their athletes moving forward. Transparency is key, people. I am always clear and transparent on this YouTube channel, as are so many other incredible YouTubers out there. They are just pure and honest. You can tell the YouTube channels that are spouting out fluff, that they've got no idea what they're talking about, or are being paid to say certain things. And you can see the people that are being honest, and Nike need to be that honest company. Okay, I know they're always going to be a bit shady. I know they're going to be doing things to keep themselves at the top of the game. They're going to be selling shoes. I will still be buying them. I'm sure a lot of you guys will still be buying them. Some of you won't, that's fine. I'm sure some of you will. And they're going to be a cutting edge of innovation, and that's fine, because we need that in the market. Otherwise, if we didn't have a Nike, we wouldn't have the companies trying to catch up. It would go stagnant. I don't believe at the moment anyone's in a position to overtake Nike in their development of running shoes. So from a shoe standpoint, the running world still needs Nike to be producing those 4%, next percent, alpha flies, whatever you want to say. But moving forward, boys and girls, clear, transparent 2020 is what Nike need. More statements released in how they are dealing with these things in-house, how they're dealing with them moving forwards, and how they're going to be treating their female athletes and male athletes moving forward. What are your guys' thoughts? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the chat. Oh God, there's loads of chat. Hold on. Oh my word. We'll wrap it up in a second, boys and girls. But any last thoughts, drop it in there. I mean, this is such a great topic to talk about. You can tell I've wanted to talk about this for so long. And all the other YouTubers have talked about it, and I've loved listening to their standpoints. But, you know, I have my own opinions coming from the business standpoint, and I kind of want to share those too. It doesn't matter what sport. When you look at the elite level, they will do boxing. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Cycling. Oh my goodness, it's riddled with it. Yeah, because we all got caught, we'll make it better. Completely the wrong attitude, mate. So maybe what you could do is not buy the product from Nike in the first business quarter to prove to them that they can't get away with these type of things. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Ultimately, at the end of the day, companies like Nike aren't going to learn until you boycott. The problem with that, and there is a problem, okay, this is a genuine problem, is that they have so many fingers in so many pies that running shoes are probably like not even 1%, 2% of their income from sponsorships, from clothing, from other shoes, from everything else, sports products, from everything else they do. Running shoes are such a minute thing that unless the whole world boycotted Nike shoes and stores physically stopped stocking them, I don't think it's going to make a dent to them, because at the end of the day, they'll just go, oh, well, we'll plow our money into something else. What actually needs to happen is lots more negative social media so that they take a stand, because hurting a reputation for a company like Nike is going to do far more damage than hurting sales, if I'm honest, because their running shoe sales won't make a dot of difference to them. Reputation will. Yeah, exactly, Lee, vet I run. So the problem is normal people like us look at these pro elites and think that we can get to those high mileage. The only way we can, so running the high mileage is the only way we can get better. And this is such a problem that people across the world are getting seriously injured trying to imitate these robots. Exactly. How many people on Strava do you follow personally, people? This is a question to you. How many people do you follow that are a level around you, or a bit better, maybe, that run nearly 100 miles a week? We have this thing in our head that 100 miles is a magic number, and I don't understand why. Yes, higher mileage makes you better, builds your aerobic capacity, blah, 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 blah. But we have lives, we have children, we have families, we have relationships, we have work, we have commitments. 100 miles is just, unless you're running for a job, it's so difficult, and you're burning yourself out, even if you do fit it all around that. For what? To be beaten on the start line by someone in next percent and has had a glucose injection the day before. It's BS. Shalane Flanagan. Toe jam and L spring shoes, that's all we need. Definitely. Yeah, no, thank you for joining in. I love your standpoint. No use boycotting, like they're too big. Exactly. But different things need to happen here, people, to boycott them. It's not about boycotting, okay? It's not about boycotting. It's about the negative media that they're going to get. I think the more of us on social media, whether you have one follower or you have 1 million followers. The more of us that talk about it and get it out in the open, sharing opinions. This live stream has been my opinions on the subject. It has not been anything more than that. And I think if we all share those opinions, then maybe Nike might listen. But other than that, we'll see. You know it, mate. You know it. You've seen that. You've all seen that Netflix documentary about the secrets of Kenyan runners. If you haven't, watch it. Go into a doctor in Kenya, get a glucose injection the day before a race. Happy flipping days. You are onto a winner. There's only way to run fast, and that's to run fast. Training, race issues don't matter. Exactly. So there we go, guys. Should we wrap it there? If you haven't already, please hit that like button. This has been a fun and passionate stream. Normally my streams are all about running shoes. Tonight, a bit more of a sincere topic. I hope you can take something away from it, and I'd love to encourage you guys to share your thoughts as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, guys. Like it, share it, subscribe if you're new here, do all that good stuff. And of course, as always, I will see you on the next one. Until then.